Okay, we're live. Now call to order the meeting of the Huntingburg Board of Public Works. And we'll start out with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Praise. Father God, thank you for all those citizens that are here today, that as volunteers working on this board, that put in the time and effort to do what's right for the city of Huntingburg. Thank you for the employees that we have that fervently take part in the daily work that they do to also improve our city and help the citizens. Ask now, we go to this meeting, that you might guide and direct us, and that we may make decisions that are good for all citizens of Huntingburg, Indiana. For these things, it's Jesus' name. Amen. Had a chance to look at the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second. I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're going to be making a lot of motions today because we don't have three of us. So thank you very much for staying there. First thing we have right now, we have a special event application for the Huntingburg Stroll. Catherine, you're doing regular here. We appreciate it.
You're gonna set me up an office or something, maybe? I'm kidding. Hi, Catherine Wilder with the Huntingburg Merchants Association. Here to ask your permission to close 4th Street for our annual pumpkin stroll. That is scheduled for September 6th and 7th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. We'll be wanting to close both ends of 4th Street. 231 to Jackson and 231 to Geiger.
And so I know Catherine also has met with Parks Board regarding the use of Market Street Park.
Yes.
I think the police officers and fire department, if they have any questions, have reviewed it. There's nothing really different. Whether it is, it's going to expand the program, but as far as what the city duties are, I don't think are any different than they were last year.
Correct. I did attend the park meeting. They're getting us some picnic tables on 4th Street. They're going to put a trash truck behind the Touch of Class West outlet. There is a wedding at the Old Town Hall, and I believe they're setting up like Friday evening, and then the wedding is all day Saturday. So we will not be using any of Market Street Park on Saturday, but Sunday we're going to have hay rides, and I believe Dustin's going to do hay rides on Sunday for us, maybe like noon to 4. And the park board said that was fine to utilize the Market Street Park for that. Then also Market Street Park, the Upper Plaza, and possibly the GAB Pavilion would be part of my rain contingency plan. Hopefully we don't have any rain.
It was a great event last year. So
It's one of the most well-attended stroll besides the Christmas stroll. If we could have the street closed Friday after lunch, whatever's convenient for the street department. We do have vendors coming to set up on the street, and they've been invited to do that, I believe, Friday, anytime after 4 p.m.
So I think it's a great event. I mean, I'll normally don't make motions, but I'll make a motion to accept the plan as written.
Thank you.
Go ahead, David. You got a first and second. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just ask, I know if you do have entertainment, get together with Kimberly.
I will. Yes.
sounds and the music.
Yes,
So
we do plan to have some music on Saturday and also on Sunday. And yeah, we'll coordinate that with her. And just real quick, thank you, shout out to the street department and Jason, as well as Chief Kramer and the Huntingburg Police Department for helping us out with the daffodil stroll. You know, it was really, really wet the first weekend, and so we kind of moved things to the following weekend, which was a fantastic idea because it was really well attended. And thanks to the street department for always working with me on my crazy texts that, hey, we don't need the street closed now. And just, I really appreciate it. And then also the police department closing down the traffic at 231. So all of the kids and the families could cross together for the bunny stroll. That was fantastic. I believe Sarah Flamian said there were 85 children that collected goodie bags down at Market Street Park during the egg hunt. So it was a very successful weekend doing it the second weekend. So thank you to everybody that helped with that.
well, thank you to the merchants too for staying active. Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we'll call on Street Superintendent Jason Sloan.
Morning. Any questions on anything with the report? Just a couple of brief points on there. We are back up to full part-time help in the summer, ready for the summer. We've been out mowing and spraying weeds and doing those typical spring and summer things. So if people see us around town spraying, we're spraying weeds, trying to keep up with that. I've been working on a couple projects that we've got coming up through the community crossing projects. Everybody's probably noticed that Rivertown that got a community crossing project in 2023, the second one in 2023. They are down working on Second Street. Moving along pretty good. They've got most of the concrete work done, I think. They'll be getting ready to, they're digging out some of the pavement now. So I would think here in the next week or two, they'll be down there and they'll be paving. From there, they will jump over to start on the Clay Street project that runs from Highway 64 up to 9th Street, I believe. And that's a pretty good sized project there. There's quite a bit of new curb and gutter, new sidewalks. That area up there has been in need of that for some time. So it would be nice to get that going and get that project finished also. Community crossing projects that we got last year. We did the first one out there on Savannah. That one's done. Met with Ryan Gogol with JH Rudolph. They have 6 projects that they're going to be working on here in town. People have probably seen them around. They've done some soft cutting and stuff out on 19th Street and a couple of the other projects. The water department's been working on getting their water main replaced down on Walnut so that project can be kept on schedule down there. So
That'll meet a goal, not only getting Walnut Street done, getting it back hopefully on Parade Route, Herbst Festival.
yeah,
Too, but also being able to take care of a lot of water issues with the mains and the laterals down along Walnut. So
correct.
2 departments there. I just want to say right now, street department's got a busy summer. You got over 20 projects going. I think you had about 3 or 4 last year. I got over 20 this year, but I want to commend them for their communication with the bus services and other communications. I know Kenley helps with that some too.
Oh yeah.
And Officer Hammock out at the school and Officer Mullen and all the officers, frankly, with the police department, we appreciate their help, but it takes a lot of coordination.
It does. Yeah. There's been a lot of help with that. the next item there was a change order number one, the Rivertown Construction. I think you should have that change order in your packet. That was for a total of $3,700. And what that was, there was a pipe at the intersection of Second and Van Buren that originally wasn't going to be replaced. But further inspection of it, we decided to go ahead and do that in-house. We laid the pipe across there in-house, but then there was two inlets that had to be rebuilt basically, and that's what contractor had to do. They had to put those two inlets back in when they poured the curb and gutter. So that's basically what that was. That's what that was for. So Rivertown worked with us and did get those two inlets installed. So that should help with the drainage in that area. So that's, any questions on that change order? That's kind of a brief summary of why or what that is or what it was for. I don't know. We don't, do we need it?
I mean, if you don't have any discussion, this is a change order for the cash wagon.
Yeah.
Portion of the design work, which we have to have. So luckily, we're able to do it in-house and keep the costs down, but I make a motion to accept the change order. All those in favor? Aye, and any opposed? My motion carries.
And then the other thing, I sent you that list of storm sewers that throughout the city that need some attention, need some repair done to them. Obviously there was, I think there's 7 of them listed on there. You know, that's not all of them. Those are some of the bigger and main ones that need some attention, and need to be attended relatively quickly. Right now we're looking at number 4, 113 Savannah Drive. That's one that we are looking to probably start here in the next week or so. There's a good sized sinkhole that's between those two homes. Been in contact with both of the homeowners. Do want to try to get a meeting set up with them. Both of them have fences that are in the easement for that storm sewer that runs down through there. The one gentleman has removed his fence, but he hasn't removed the post. The other gentleman has not done anything yet. So I want to try to set up a meeting to, if we can, to get both of them in here and maybe have Phil attended if we can, just so that they understand the easement. I don't remember, Phil, do you remember when we talked about that? Is that a 10-foot easement?
I believe it is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
They've got the property line staked. Okay, so it's basically 5 foot on each of them's property is what the easement is. And it's nowhere, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff in our way. And it's so narrow and tight that it's very hard to get in there and do that work. And even in a 10-foot easement, when you have to dig out a ditch and keep the dirt on your easement and all that. So that will be the first one out of those that we'll be working on. You know, as you can see there, some of them are relatively big projects, rather expensive projects. So I basically created that list to let the board look at it. And if you guys have any say in which ones you would rather see done in whatever order, you just let me know. And, you know, they all need to be done, but it's just kind of something to go by.
Hard prioritize, and we have about 50 of them that need to be done.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I will say Savannah Drive is causing foundation issues among those.
Well,
with at least maybe one of the homes, so
it,
the other one's afraid it is, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen
Yeah.
any sign of that, but
right.
it's probably something.
Right. So, and that's, you know, we run into that some. We've got another one on here, the 20th Street number 1. It also has right of way that's going to have to be cleared. I think there may be even a shed sitting on that one. So we're going to have to, when we get to that one, we'll have to deal with that. But Um, Any questions on any of the storm sewer stuff?
What is the First Street project or number 6 following?
Well, that's kind of in the works, right, isn't it? Number 6.
Yeah, a little bit. That one, is one that we were talking about. That basically runs from 231 to Jackson. We haven't done anything with it yet. That was discussed as part of the paving of First Street all the way down. That's still in discussion in the works. I know Brad's got some wastewater lines that have to be run up through there. So that's one that he and I will probably try to coordinate when we do that. Because it's more than likely, I think yours is in the middle of the road, pretty close. So the road itself would have to be shut down while he does his, and maybe we can coordinate and do both of them at the same time.
And we have utilities as well as a private business that may be changing some things with their entrance along that area.
Right.
Too, so
Yeah, they're
there's a lot
looking,
of things involved, a lot
Yeah.
of working pieces to that one little block there.
yeah,
A lot of it's getting all that lined out in time properly.
yeah. And I mean, as you can see, the rough price of that one was $10,000 just for the pipe alone. That one's all gotta be granular backfilled, and then it's gotta have an asphalt cap put back on it, so, those are, they're definitely not, cheap, but, when we do them in-house, it saves a lot of money. Because if we had to hire a contractor to do that, it would be very expensive. So, and that's one that we would do that one ourselves.
We do not have a stormwater team, so to speak, or a stormwater department.
No,
So normally the kudos to the street department for still taking care of out of their budget. Normally that's a separate budget item and in a city that we don't have. So,
Yeah.
when they're doing this work, it takes a little bit away from the street budget, but it's also a way to maintain those streets.
yeah. I mean, my philosophy on it since I've been here is, as opposed to just going in and making the street black with new asphalt on it, let's fix what's underneath of it first. It makes the project a lot more expensive, but it also makes the longevity of that street, a lot longer. So that's where we run into like the mayor said, cost wise, it adds up. So any questions on anything? I think that's all I had. Do you want to?
Let's talk, we need to make a decision today,
Yeah.
to move forward, to advertise for bids for the roof, that's, the street department. We can't wait really any longer right now, that it's gotten worse. We have, we're looking at other avenues to repairs on the inside. But it is causing what I would call a work issue, from a climate issue, for those people that have to work in that building, but also the damage that it's doing to the building. We have spoken to several roofing companies. They got a couple different options out there. Everyone has told us that screwing that roof down is what is the problem. We shouldn't have ever screwed that roof. It should have been clipped. We did do, if you remember, we did bid that out to put it back with clips. To take that off and put it back on, I think it was $600 some thousand, almost 700, which is way out of our budget. Two options, obviously. Right now, the biggest ones right now, putting the insulation on the outside of the building and going back over the material. I will say that most commercial buildings in town use that process. I personally have probably done 35, 40 of those roofs through the years. Normally it's a 25-year period. They'll at least guarantee it for 20. You can get extended warranties up to 25. Normally it'll last past the warranty period though. But that cost, while we're getting from some local contractors saying that the expected cost is about 280 to 300. I think we had one that was a little higher than that. One quote, they were out of St. Louis, I believe. And,
Yeah.
but That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I had a guy here, roofing restorations. Their offices in Texas, but they had their local salesman was from St. Louis and he drove over here Tuesday. And he and I got up on the roof and looked at it, and I basically explained to him the three options that we were looking at. His recommendation was to go with the middle one, which was the insulation and the overlay over the top of it. He said when he drove down Chestnut Street, he saw 3 or 4 buildings that have that on it. He said that's what they have on there. He said you see that type of roofing system on a lot of commercial buildings. So that was his, he said they'll look at it all 3 ways, but he said, it's gonna be very expensive to tear it off and replace it with the clips and that type of thing.
Just about every school, commercial building, factory, restaurant uses that same system, so. There's dozens of buildings in this city that have.
Right.
That system.
Right.
I can't tell you exactly how many, but if,
And we do have, Andrea and I are meeting, is that this morning, I think?
He's gonna call me when he gets close.
The insurance adjuster for the city's insurance is coming today to go up on the roof and look at the roof. We basically started that process with Tad a couple weeks ago, I think. Tad came out and looked at the interior. And then Tad's suggestion to us was to also have them look at the exterior. They may, hopefully that can, benefit us somewhere along the line with some money, but we'll see what he says.
my suggestion is that we set it out for bid for that, but however, allow alternate bids for other methods, whether they be the spray on coatings and other things that are available. And we can specify those coatings, or if you have other suggestions, I just say, I want to make a decision today and move forward. It's late since we've owned it, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, it's time to move on and get this done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to get it, we need to get it done. We owe that to those employees that have been there working in that environment for the last 19 years. I know you've been there at least 9 years in that building.
I think, yeah, I'm trying to remember when we moved out there, but it's been a little while. And like you said, I mean, it's been that way since we moved out there in the shop area. But it's obviously gotten a lot worse, through time, and it's not going to fix itself. So. Yeah. I mean, you guys got any questions on any of the stuff that we've looked at on it? I think I agree with the mayor, it's something we need to move forward with. I like the recommendation of just giving them that option of doing the TPO overlay. And then if they want to supply alternates for that, then they can. But from everybody that I've talked to, from local guys to guys that work all over the United States, all of them have said that the TPO, which is that overlay type thing, would be good for that roof.
Even the companies that bid the last time
Yeah.
suggested, came back and said, this
Yeah,
is,
one of them wanted to put a bid in that way the last time, and we said, well, we're bidding the tear off and replace this time, so.
I can't see spending $500,000. I did a little more research on what you guys were talking about.
it's
You can't justify $500,000 when you can do it for a quarter.
no, and on a flat roof where water sets and you have other issues with it, it's a 20-year warranty. I think there may be an opportunity of us getting 25 on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
That's an outside chance. But also, when you're working with the slope that you're working with, you're gonna get a little bit more off of it. Probably the detriment, it's not gonna be as sturdy against hail damage, those type of things, but those could be insurance claims usually anyway. Usually insurance covers those if it's to the point where it's covered up. It's minus our deductible. So I'll make a motion to use the TPO bid. If there's any other options you want to put on there, we can also I would say as part of that motion is that we would entertain other methods as part of that bid. So if they are bidding, I think they need to bid on the TPO, but if they have a suggestion to add something else to it. But we'll only accept those bids. We'll only consider the companies that submitted a TPO.
I'll second that motion. I like that option.
All right, I've got a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next steps, we do have some. A little bit of funding in the street department that would have to be reappropriated to the department for that. So then we'd have to go to council to reappropriate those funds. I believe once they are in the budget, then approval of the bids should come through here. Once we set up the date of the bids, we invite Board of Public Works, as we always do, you know, to the big conference for the opening of bids considerations of bids.
But the council will have to accept the bids since they're using the funds, right?
So the council just has to appropriate funds from the street surplus.
Okay. So once
You
we do
guys
that,
would do
they're
that.
back in, they're back under your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the funds are appropriated, then you can award the contract.
We're not appropriating the funds for the roof replacement, we're appropriating them into their budget. That makes sense. If they're appropriating it for a project, I think that probably would be the case.
And then once we get all the bids and have the bid opening and make sure everything's in order, then it would come back to you guys for the final approval of that contractor.
I may have spoke out of line there, but I think that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
So, got approval to move forward. We'll working getting that ad out and we're also work diligently. We do have a list of contractors that do that. We will reach not only bid it, advertise the bid, but also, as always, we solicit several contractors. To get 4 or 5 bids, you usually have to solicit at least 10 contractors or more nowadays to make that happen. So.
You still working with Universal on the design specs? Or?
Yeah, we're gonna, the mayor and I
Yeah.
will kind of talk about it and see. If it's something that we can do in-house or how we need to do that.
Yeah,
There have to be sufficient specs.
Right.
Specs have to be specific enough so that the bidders.
Everybody's bidding the same, yeah.
and I think we have those because
Okay.
we had some contractors submitted those. They submitted them to Universal Design for review
Yeah.
and specs, so we can move there.
We've got a good starting point on it, I
The
think.
other thing that we can, what was I started to say something? One thing it's good about the TPO product is that the inspections are done by the manufacturer. Also, along with our own people that are doing inspections. The first 2 years of the warranty normally is held by the contractor, the rest of it is held by the corporation. So roofing companies go out of business every day of the week, so the warranty is only good as the person that's backing it, so. Having a long-time manufacturer that's been in business for 50 years, it's gonna be positive too.
TPO, does that add a lot of heat structure to that building?
Not a lot, because I mean, it's the insulation that they put up there is minimal, or I mean, weight wise, it's minimal. What they basically do is they take the ribs, and this guy that was there the other day explained it. You have the ribs on the metal roof that stick up and they're like at a slant. He said that actual piece that they put in there is cut exactly to fit in there with the slant and everything. It fits down in there, fills that gap. Then they come over the top of all of it with like 1 inch or 2 inches of insulation again. It's that styrofoam basically type stuff. And then the heaviest part is probably the actual TPO, the material that they lay over it. But he said that's not they never hardly ever run into an issue like that. He referred to the type of stuff that they put over the insulation to a lot like what we have on our salt building out there. If you've ever been out there and saw that, he said it's similar to that type of a material.
Probably weight per square foot, probably gonna be about like your floor out of your cars.
Yeah, it's probably not, a lot.
Seams are welded, so to speak, you know.
Yeah.
Versus heat, they're actually a welded material that's a semi material.
He said it'll add our value to the inside. I said, well,
It'll be reflective too, so.
yeah.
The fire department, all this.
You do.
Yeah, we did it 2 years ago on First Street.
Okay. Probably what's above us here.
Probably. Anything else?
Thank you. Wastewater Superintendent Brad Coomer.
Good morning. Any questions on the report?
Just, I'll bring it up, just because, really right now we're looking at, a little bit, scope of work really of getting First Street back to where it should be. It's a little more than what was in the budget, realizing too that, I would like to see more of it done. Originally, it was just gonna be the center. I really think, the street department we need to get involved, obviously with Jason and other people that, we're working right now with the contractors that actually, were part of that bid process of looking at possible change orders to that.
Yes.
And yeah, it could be a little more, it could be a little less, we don't know, but we have spent zero on our contingency funds, I believe, in that area.
We've spent some, but it's $1,000, not much. But we sent a proposal out to give us a price on redoing some concrete and taking some more panels out on First Street. So once they get that back to us, hopefully we can have a plan. The engineers will look over it, make sure it's sufficient for pricing wise to NDOT. That's what we went through for NDOT specs. So hopefully we have that ready for our next meeting.
Obviously, the outlook that it'll still be under the original budget for Division B. Division B was, all the, other than engineering, was 100% grant funded. We have no obligations to make further payments on it, so from a financial standpoint, we're sitting good. It's time to do a thorough job and get it done right.
You gonna just keep the concrete, or you going back with asphalt?
Probably concrete. I don't think it's subgrade underneath will have be able to handle the asphalt. So.
What scared me with it when we
Well,
were talking about it was.
There's a reason it's concrete now.
Yeah,
I know when you talked about asphalt at one point, I thought, man, that's not gonna hold up. So I'm glad you're gonna go back with
I
concrete.
don't think it would ever.
We looked at both
roll it,
options.
would ever pass.
Yeah, I think we just have to look. I think we got 17 to 19 inches available there to get it back in. It's just what that combination of concrete and compacted material underneath is gonna be, but it'll be, obviously, the concrete will hold up against the soil conditions that we have on that side of town. And we know that when we did the police department, I think the fire department too, we had to use cylindrical, what's the word? Cylindrical piers, we have piers and all kinds of other construction. So I can't say that street's gonna be any better soil conditions under it than what those buildings were that run down First Street. So we're just gonna assume those conditions. Unless you wanna pay a bunch of money to have somebody come out and tell us that it's bad soil, we're just gonna operate under that assumption.
So hopefully we have them numbers ready for you for the next meeting. But Division A, they did some pouring yesterday. They're planning on doing a big pour Saturday morning early, starting about 3 a.m. To finish the floors. Be about 2,000 yards. They'll be pulling from 3 plants, but there'll be a lot of truck traffic unless the rain pulls us back. But there'll be about 24 trucks coming in there every hour.
An update meeting at 10 o'clock today too, if anybody's interested.
That'll be going on. And then after that, they'll be working on the wall pours. About every 2.5, 3 days, they'll be able to do a wall pour.
Going back to the Division B, have you noticed any improvement, storm events?
Yes, well, we had, was the fourth through the 7th of the month, beginning of the month, we had 23.7 million gallons come to the plant in 3 days. Our plant designed 1.1, so we were pumping 22.7 million gallons out. We were at 337%. And we had one manhole that I had to do a report on. For some, because we had a bypass going in there and overflow. Other than that, all the way down First Street and Second Avenue. Did not have any manholes that were floated. I didn't have any calls for basements flooded. I'm sure there was times where people couldn't flush their toilet because they have check valves. But once we get the new plant up and running, all that should be able to come through and go through the plant a lot quicker. But good, yeah, it worked good
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
one manhole wasn't that bad. I think I went back 3 hours later and I didn't even.
Yeah.
It was,
But we monitored it. We were down there for 3 days, 24/7. You know, everything. Preventive maintenance did its job. Nothing broke.
In the past, in rain events like that, every manhole on First Street.
It'd take a point where it's lifting up the asphalt around some manholes.
what I was impressed with is that the ditches were pretty clean. I mean, they were. Normally was
Well.
full and junk flowed down through there. They,
But any other questions? We'll be up on Fourth Avenue or Fourth Street, West Fourth. Replacing about 60, 70 feet of 8-inch main before they pave that. And then hopefully we can get a plan together on First Street. Jackson to about more for less to replacing that. I still am waiting on some numbers from the engineering and stuff, so. Get that going. Otherwise, we've been working on preventive maintenance and everything else.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. We know we have Police Chief, Brad Kramer.
Morning. Any questions on the report? No questions? Just kind of keep you guys in the loop. We did get Officer Shin signed up for the K-9 selection and training on June 30th. We're still gathering a few items left for that. So once he goes and makes the selection, that's when they do the billing. So I'll probably come back in the June meeting and ask for the approval of that submission, because I think it's gonna be, there's a possibility that the payment would need to be made before that July meeting, possibly. So just kind of keep you guys in the loop on that. Also was notified by CFS Corp out of Vincennes. They did a grant for us a couple years ago. There's funding opportunity for radio with a 25% match. We are in need of 17 radios. And the project as a whole, the last quote I had was over 160,000. So I've already submitted 2 grants, one through Norfolk Southern, another one through REC. Norfolk was 15,000, REC was 10. So I'm asking for permission to seek this grant funding opportunity for 100,000. I'm not certain that we'll get it because it's competitive, but at least ask up to 100, because I am asking for other funding on other places. So
Your match will come from where?
from the RDC. And I've talked to Paul about that, talked to Tom already.
Those
Yeah.
are TIF funds from TIF districts, so they'll be outside of this budget. So we need a motion to allow that application to go out. I'll make that motion. Got a first and a second. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Last week, I was up in Plainfield for a 40-hour training course through ILEA, the Law Enforcement Academy for the police chiefs, executive training. That's mandated by state statute. There was some good training there, some things that I'm gonna bring back. Hopefully report back at the next meeting and give you all some insight on that. So lastly, just want to thank the mayor and other community members for the support that we had on April 14th. The critical incident that night, so. Other than that. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. We're impressed every week with your staff and their community engagement and their engagement when they're out in public. It's just, everything's positive.
It's good.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We got Fire Chief Don Hahn. I'll say the same thing about Chief Vine too, so. From a community engagement standpoint.
I would like to add, this was almost the whole month, up until last night. So last night we added 2 more runs. No.
It's a mutual aid.
No.
Okay.
Questions on the report?
I think we just continue talking about the runs with.
Yeah, this is probably our biggest month that I've had in my 2 years. So this is almost 2. When I started, we were averaging, anywhere between 18 to 22 runs a month. So this is almost 2 months worth of runs in 1 month. And it's been like this for, not this big, but it's been, and I have a lot of data. It's just run volume is increasing for everyone. Other departments and other communities, in Du Bois County, not in Du Bois County. I've heard the same thing, from a rep yesterday. He was saying down in the Evansville area, one of their departments, they said the same thing. It was, their runs are just quite large.
Talked to a couple other departments there. In Du Bois County, their trend is almost running what our arm says.
Yeah.
It's the new norm.
It's the new norm, I think.
The reason we continually bring it up is that it is impacting the budget. There will be a budget shortfall in that area. For what we pay for those people that respond to those calls. And we've got to have an answer. We'll be okay for a couple of months, but we're definitely not going to have the funding get us through till the end of the year at this present
If
rate.
it keeps at this rate.
There
It could drop off. It hasn't since August, so.
we're looking at other areas that we might be able to. And we made some adjustments already with the truck payments and those kind of things with for some savings in the fire department budget, but most of their budget is repairs and insurance and a portion of your salary that's covered in that over there, but there's not a lot of leeway there.
The only other thing that I have is, the county is discussing automatic aid between certain communities. And this is it does a couple of things. Number one, our departments don't get a lot of, this is strictly for active fire runs. This isn't for alarms or EMS or anything like that. It is a house fire. A neighboring department would automatically be dispatched as well. And if you look at the last 5 house fires we had last year, Jasper was here at 3 of them. And then Holland and Ireland the year before were at some as well. So it's different than mutual aid. Mutual aid is at the discretion of the chief. Automatic aid is, if it is an active fire, there will be, and all it is 4 firefighters and an apparatus. And then that helps us in our ISO rating as well. If we get this up and running, and our partner would be Jasper. So they average about 10 structure fires, less than 10 structure fires a year. We average less than 5 a year. It doesn't cost us anything when they come here. It does. It's basically, it's like $100, a little over $100. for me to send four guys in a truck, Jasper. So it's minimal, but it has an impact on our community. So Phil, you were saying that needs to go to the council. So I'm just asking, is it okay that I pursue this with this board? Are you okay that we look at this?
Probably just need a permanent. I don't think we need a motion.
I did.
I think
It gets a good idea.
It gives our,
O rating obviously impacts our insurance, and the reason it impacts our insurance, because it's showing that we're having efficiencies as a region too, and a process that keeps us safer. And it keeps our structures and our bodies really safer, and so there's a reason the ISO rating goes up as a result.
So this past month in April, you had 17 fire runs and 38 fire runs to date. But those are the same as active fire?
no. Those are just runs they could be just fire alarms. It could be
Okay.
going to the lofts for burnt food. None of that would be considered. This is an active structure fire. Jasper would be coming, or the
So-
smell of smoke in an area would also warrant that as well.
So then you would be dispatched by the security center, not the security center, emergency center?
911, yes.
911.
But it is not, no, those right there, I have to categorize them as
Yeah.
Something. Why did we get called? And a fire alarm would
As
be.
opposed to an EMS or?
Yes, yeah,
Kind of some of the ones that I've seen, and obviously those structure fires in homes last year, 3 to 5 times they showed up anyway. The accident out on Wits Bottoms
Mhm.
that we responded to with them. So it's kind of happening now, but it's not as automatic.
correct. And it's
With
a time savings issue. They called for us, and by the time when they call for us, we have to group together and then go, and it adds time. And it's just adding additional coverage for our community, or assistance, because it takes a lot of manpower, people power to fight a fire.
So will you have a standing roster as to the four people that?
It'd be the first 4 that show up. I mean, I think that's the only way that we can technically do it. And there is a set apparatus that would go. It would be our smaller ladder truck, because it can pump and it can maneuver in their streets. It gives our department more exposure to house fires, which makes us more experienced, gives us a better understanding and rating,
Gives you an opportunity to work with other departments.
and show them how to do it right.
Yeah, well, I wasn't,
Oh, I mean,
you took the words out of my mouth. So
no, it is, but it does add community involvement, partnerships.
yeah. So when the larger fires happen, they're used to working with each other.
Absolutely.
Their protocols are.
In fact, part of this would be training together and SOPs similar in structure.
We hope all protocols will evolve and change and become even better. So
Yeah, absolutely.
as a result of it, because you're gonna take the best of the best, with protocol procedures. Well, you have our,
I'll get on the
Yeah.
agenda for that.
yeah, get on the agenda for the council and go from there.
Okay.
I have a copy of that, don't I? The
What?
mutual aid agreement or not mutual aid?
The automatic, that was, I think we're gonna have another, I just talked to a couple chiefs yesterday. We're gonna have a sit down and do some clarifications,
Yeah, I thought
as
that
well.
had some vagaries in it.
Because some of the, what you have is, they don't have a city council, they're just, they're township fire departments. So we're gonna clean that up, and
Okay.
I'll get you an updated copy after that.
All right, thanks, Don.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Planning Director Paul Lake.
Any questions on the reports?
Are all building permits issued now for Hunter's Crossing?
I think there's one lot left.
One lot, okay.
Drive through it. I'll take a drive through it probably tomorrow morning just to verify that, but I'm pretty sure they're down to one.
Permit value is the improvement value.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, generally, that's the bricks and sticks, so. And on your code enforcement report, the period 4/1 through 4/28, that 61 should actually be 76 now. There were a few additional notices mailed yesterday and the day before.
That mostly grass or?
A little of everything. Grass, junk trash and debris, illegal trash containers. You really can't use a pickup truck as a dumpster and just leave it there for weeks on at end. So things like that. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I will say that, Paul is making, so you have 5 phone calls. It seems like you're making more than that. To those, to people, but maybe not. I know you made at least 3 yesterday, I think.
Yeah,
So, you know, because the process can be lengthy, 10 days to get the mail there, their response time. Something's very critical. He has been calling them, or they're, hey, this time of year, what we're seeing, I think we've had 3 or 4 instances, including within the city, is new lawn mowing people that may get a little confused as to where the property line is, and they just skip an area. And we had that happen with some businesses that just frankly, they didn't realize that their lawn mowing person wasn't mowing a portion of the lawn.
Yeah.
So we could pick up the phone and call those people that weren't frequent violators and fix some of that. We'll still send them notice, but
the other thing that's, the mayor and I talked about yesterday, and Jason and I have talked about it quite a bit over the years. Grass clippings in the street. And it's one of those where it's gonna involve a conversation with Phil, the mayor, myself, and Donnie and Jason to some extent, because our ordinance says that they have to remove that grass. When I send them a notice, they have to remove the grass within 48 hours. Problem is, if I send that notice, I've got to build 3 days into it because it's from the date they received the notice. So you're already 5 to 6 days out before they're ever going to realize they need to get the grass off the street. So we need to figure out a better mousetrap.
I guess you could hand deliver the notice. It's the other option is hand deliver it to the residents.
Okay,
That would start it immediately.
I was gonna suggest that too. The problem is catching them home during the day.
yeah, we talked about hand delivering, but you know, also I think that there could be education, even given that might prevent some of that. We got to look at all options.
we used to do a better job. It used to be there was a spring mailing that was included in utility billings that went out that talked a little bit about, these are the things, hey, folks, these are the things, trash, put it out no earlier than 4 p.m. the day prior to pickup. Grass clippings, grass can't be taller than 9 inches, and those things. We've not done it in a couple of years, so I think we'll get back to doing that again. Also making sure that we've got a fairly clear list on the city's website of the most common things you're going to hear about. That'll get us partway there.
I don't recall, our grass clipping ordinance, does that just prohibit clippings in the street?
Yes, and street and sidewalk.
Does sidewalk is included?
Yeah, in fact, I've got to send a notice of violation to street department today for clipping.
Grass clippings. Grass clipping on the sidewalk is almost as bad.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
health and safety aspect.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Safety Director, Andrea Brown.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Anyone have any questions? We've been hitting it hard, Shelley and I, on pool planning and getting park and rec and all of that up and running. So we've got the dates for training and stuff finalized. So all of that will be going out to them today probably. So, and then we started on our insurance renewal for general liability, building, vehicle, all of that stuff. So.
And health insurance.
Yeah,
Everything's-
started on that too, so everything at once.
It's one sentence here, but it's several days worth of work going through those. And you ever done risk assessments or work with the insurance companies on these applications of renewal? It's a lot of work involved, so. thank you. It keeps somebody busy for quite a while.
Any other questions?
Talking to other communities, the fact that we have no open work in the place cases is huge.
Yeah.
Usually we don't.
And that's probably third month in a row. We haven't even had any, you
A
know,
lot of our staff
knock on wood.
do manual labor, do their stretches in the morning, and they do a
Yeah.
lot of things to keep themselves physically able to do the work without injuries. I think that's a lot of preventive things happening among all the departments, so appreciate that.
Thank you.
City Attorney Bill Sheen, I have nothing. Amy, and place it. Well, thank you, Amy, for being here. Any other board items? Citizen items? Well, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Got a first and a second for adjournment. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Adjourned at 9:26 a.m. Still be live for a moment or so here until Rob takes us off.